UFC 303 is in the books. In my opinion, a very overhated card. I think it was very underrated. I think the main card was not as good as we were probably anticipating. Obviously, we weren't expecting Brian Ortega to pull out. We were not really expecting Ian Garry versus Venom Page to be kind of average. But I figured I would do some fights to make upon completion of 303. First, we'll start out with the champion, Alex Peirera. I believe, you have to give him Magomed Ankalaev next. I don't really know who else you would really do. People are talking about moving up to heavyweight. I don't think it's a bad idea, but I think you can move up to heavyweight because you don't have a clear champion. You have Tom, who's the real champion. You have John, who's just going to be inactive and probably won't see him fight until November, if that fight even happens. So there is risk in if he loses to Ankalaev, then that move up to heavyweight is going to be kind of questioned, and it might not have as much hype because he's going to get, because if he does lose to Magomed Ankalaev, I see that being because he's taken down, he's controlled on the ground. However, I don't think he's going to lose that fight against Ankalaev, but I think if he does, that's going to be the way that he loses, and that would kind of, I guess, rid a lot of hype for him to move up to heavyweight because the people that he would be fighting would be pretty competent on the ground, whether that's Aspinall, whether that's John, but that's not going to happen, whether it's Curtis Blades if he wins. So, I don't know. I think you give him Magomed Ankalaev, and of course we want to see him move up to heavyweight, but there's just not a real... It's not the perfect time right now, so you gotta let that marinate a little bit and see where the heavyweight division goes. And you obviously don't want to have him move up to heavyweight to fight like a contender, because I think he's well deserving of a title shot, like an immediate title shot if he beats Ankalaev. So I don't want to see him move up and fight Volkov. That'd be very entertaining, but I don't want to see him fight Volkov. I don't want to see him, I just want to see him get a title shot immediately. So next, we're going Jiri Prochazka. Very, very sad. As a big Jiri fan, it's very upsetting to see. I think you have a couple names you can give him. I think he needs to take a lot of time off, though. So that should not even be up for debate. He needs to take a lot of time off. 6 months, no contact, then, start training, then get into a camp, you know what I mean? So you have Jan Blachowicz, who's coming off a surgery. I don't remember what the surgery was. I want to say it was his shoulder. I think he got 2 surgeries on his shoulder, but then he had to fix both shoulders. I don't really remember. So you could do Jan Blachowicz because the timetables kind of work together. You can also do Jamal Hill because he's coming off another injury. His knee? Some with his knee. I don't really remember what it was. I don't know if it was an ACL or an MCL. I'm not really sure. I just know it was knee related, and he got injured relatively recently. So I think the time for return would be similar for both fighters. So I think that would work out pretty well. I really want to see how, to be honest, I don't really want him to see, I don't want to see him fight Jamal Hill next because I want to see how Jamal Hill fights against somebody else. Because after he lost to Alex, everybody was saying, oh, dude, Carlos Ulberg's going to destroy him, Roundtree's going to destroy him. So I kind of want to see, if that, because all this hype is just, his hype, I guess, is just derailed. So I want to see how he fares against somebody else. I want to see him fight a guy like Jan Blachowicz. I don't think he poses the same danger on the feet that Jamal Hill does. So next we'll go Diego Lopes. I think you can rebook the Brian Ortega fight. Honestly, or give him a Dan Ige rematch. Fuck it, give him a Dan Ige fight on a full camp. I would say Dan Ige definitely overachieved. I don't think anybody was really anticipating him to do pretty well. He lost rounds 1 and 2 pretty definitively. He was getting out grappled, he was getting out damaged. But then he kind of just really woke up in the 3rd round, and his coach was saying he's playing with house money, so he has nothing to lose. So maybe that's why he had a good stretch later in the fight. But I don't know. I think the Brian Ortega fight is fair, but also I think Ortega's talking about moving up to 55. So I wouldn't want to see that fight at 55. So I think honestly a Dan Ige rematch is pretty fair. I heard some people saying that he's still gonna take the fight with Chepe Mariscal in 2 weeks. I don't think that's gonna happen at all. I don't know why that would ever be. He just had a 3-round fight against a top 4 guy, and then he's gonna fight the number 30 guy. I don't know. I think that's pretty confusing. So next, let's see. We'll go Dan Ige, like I said, Diego Lopes, or you could do Josh Emmett. I think that would be pretty entertaining to see. What's his name? Josh Emmett last fought in December. That was UFC 296. I haven't heard any fight rumors at all. I haven't heard him. I don't even know if he's in a camp. I don't even know if he's training. So I think that would be a good fight. 2 guys that are relatively, they're not similar in rankings. I want to say Ige's 13 and Josh Emmett's 5 for some reason. I don't really know why. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of what his last win was before Bryce Mitchell. I don't know why he's so high up in the rankings. The featherweight rankings are really weird. Brian Ortega's like number 3 after not fighting for 2 years, but I don't know. I'm not really sure. Let's see. Anthony Smith, I think you have to give him Dominic Reyes. I don't know who else you could give him. Like, nothing else really makes sense. He loses to a middleweight on 2 weeks' notice when he has been in a fight camp for 3 months. I mean, I don't really understand it. He looked really horrible in the fight. Really slow. Just really showcased the divisional skill gap in middleweight and light heavyweight. I would say light heavyweight is probably the least skilled division in the entire UFC. It's up there. It's up there with heavyweight. It's up there with flyweight. I don't know. I mean, I would say these flyweight guys are more skilled, actually, to be honest. So, yeah, man, I think that's the fight to make. I mean, honestly, I don't even really want to see Anthony Smith fight much again. Like, I don't know. I haven't been interested for his last fights. I like the guy. I want to see him win, but, I mean, he's just losing and losing and losing, and he gets that cool win over Vitor Petrino, but he was losing the fight on the feet for the most part until Petrino pulled a boneheaded move and then went for the takedown and got caught in the guillotine and didn't really fight the hands. It kind of just gave up. So, I don't know. I mean, he's just losing. He barely snuck out a win over Ryan Spann. He's getting killed against Khalil Roundtree. He's getting just completely embarrassed and danced on by Roman Dolidze, who's pretty ass himself. So I'm not really excited to see him fight anybody. I think we should just give him fun fights for now, or like fan favorite fights, and the Dominic Reyes fight would be the perfect matchup for that. Next, let's see, who do we got? We got Ian Garrett. I don't know why I had him so far down the list. Give Ian Garry Gilbert Burns, or give him Colby Covington. I don't think Colby Covington... Actually, no. I'm gonna take that back. I think Colby Covington is now more inclined to take this fight because he didn't look as good. He dominated him on the ground in round 1. And then round 2, he was kind of just getting pieced up. He was looking real nervous. He was looking really gun-shy. He wasn't throwing a lot. Didn't really land shit in round 2 and 3. Got cracked a couple times really bad in round 2. And I think Colby is now going to be more inclined to take this fight. But at the same time, I think he's also going to get shit on if he wants to take the fight now, because he was ducking him over the past couple months, and now we see him have a rather unimpressive fight, and now he's going to jump at the bits to take the fight. So I think he's going to get shit on if he tries to take it, but I'm pretty excited to see it. I would love to see that. And then Gilbert Burns is on a loss streak. He just got KO'd bad against JDM, who had staph infection and a broken arm. And before that, who the fuck did he lose to? He lost to Bilal Muhammad. Yeah, it was UFC 288. That was a while ago. And then before that, he had like a 29-28 win over Masvidal, UFC 287. So like, he's on like a losing skid. He's 37 years old. I can't see him getting anywhere near a number 1 contenders fight. I think he's just gonna downgrade as time goes on. Father time, he's 37 years old. So yeah, I think that would be a pretty cool fight. You can kind of give him you can't even really call Ian Garry an up-and-comer now, because he was number 7 prior to this fight. And I mean, I don't think he's going to jump the rankings much, because I mean, MVP was ranked number 14, and he also kind of barely won the fight. Overhated fight, by the way. I'll get into that later, but I think that fight was pretty overhated. I think Ian Garry did very well. Yeah, it was round 2 and 3 was pretty unimpressive. I mean, mainly round 2. Round 3 was okay. Kind of just won that round with control time, lost on damage, but they ended up giving him the fight. I don't think that was a robbery. I think a lot of people were saying that. I don't think that was a robbery. I think it was a clear 1 and 3. I think the hate of him is kind of just blinding him. I'm not a fan of him, so I was actually rooting for MVP. I'm a big MVP fan. I'm pretty entertained watching him fight. But if you put all bias aside, I think Ian Garry clearly edged out that fight. Not a robbery. And it was not as boring as people made it out to be. I was pretty shocked to see him really threatening submissions, because we've never seen him do that at all. I remember after the Neil Magny fight, he was saying that he wants to... I don't remember what he was saying, but he was saying he wants to showcase his grappling, and his grappling is world class. We just haven't seen it, and he was just saying shit like that, and I didn't believe him until that fight. So I think I was pretty impressed with him. See next, MVP. Gotta give him Stephen Thompson. I don't know who else it could really be. I want to say a few months ago, Stephen Thompson was saying he doesn't want that fight because they're friends. He fought Kevin Holland and they're friends, and I don't know, I think you're kind of at the stage of the career where you're 41 I mean, just take the fun fights, man. You're not going to be anywhere near a number one contender fight. You're probably 3 wins away from a number one contenders fight. So I mean, I don't know. I would like to see that fight happen. I think every person believes that fight should happen. I'm not like a genius for thinking of that. Other than that, I don't know. Fucking like, you fought Kevin Holland, so that's a fair. Like, what are you going to give him? Neil Magny? I don't even know. Neil Magny's always that guy that's between like 13 and 17 in the rankings, but I don't know. I think you got to give him Stephen Thompson, and if you don't, I think that's the only one that really makes sense. But who's really jumping at the bits to see Neil Magny versus MVP? I don't know. Like, who really fucking cares for that? What's next for Joe Pyfer? A lot of people are saying Chris Curtis. I agree. I think that's going to be a good fight to see. Both very skilled on the feet. Both hit very fucking hard. Maybe we'll see the takedowns mixed in. I'm not really sure. He called out Paul Craig. I think that's an okay call out. Could have been better. I mean, I'd be okay to see that fight. I would much rather see him fight Chris Curtis. I'm not really sure when that really could happen though, because Chris Curtis had that injury. It was what was it? Achilles or hamstring? I don't remember. I think he's probably nearing the end of the rehab for that. I don't think he's in a fight camp yet. I think we're probably like a month away from that. Paul Craig, I think he would fucking destroy Paul Craig. I don't really think that would be fair. But, I mean, it'd be an okay fight to see. I wouldn't be too excited, but I don't know. Next, Payton Talbott. Let's see. He called out Adrian Yanez. I like that call out. I think that's pretty fucking good. I think you have a lot of people you could really give him, because between like 20 and 35 in the bantamweight rankings, I think there's a lot of names you could give him. You could give him fucking Cody Garbrandt. That'd be pretty hyped. You could give him Daniel Marcos. You could give him fucking Victor Henry. You could give him, I don't know. You got like a lot of people. Who else could you give him? I don't know. You could. I mean, I'm fine with the Adrian Yanez call out. I think Payton Talbot knocks out Adrian Yanez probably in round 2. I don't see that being like a too quick finish. I think he'll kind of feel him out on the feet at first. I think he'll pick him apart in round 1. Probably hurt him bad. Maybe drop him. I'm not really sure. I think he'll put him away in round 2 though. Adrian Yanez was pretty hyped at one point, but now he's he got KO'd by Rob Font. I think that was in Miami. Or was that in Canada? It was either 287 or 289. 289 was Canada. 287 was I think it was Miami. Maybe it was, I don't know. And then after that, he lost to Jonathan Martinez. Or was that beforehand? No, I'm sorry. No. He lost to Jonathan Martinez. Like that was in the summer. That was last summer. Some shit. He got leg kick TKO'd. He fucked up his knees. But then he came back with a KO win over Vinicius Salvador. That was a really confusing fight to me because Vinicius Salvador is a flyweight, and like that fight announcement kind of came out of nowhere. Like that's pretty fucking random. The guy's a bum flyweight, and then he gets like a guy that was once a prospect of bad bantamweight. I don't really understand, but I don't know. He put him away. I think it was with an uppercut. I don't know. That was like 2 months ago, maybe last. That was what card was? I don't remember. Yeah, he put him out with an uppercut, something like that. I'm not really sure. It was a pretty uneventful fight. That was the Tatsuro Taira and Alex Perez card, I think. Never mind. But yeah, give him Adrian Yanez. I think he wins. I think Payton Talbot wins. I think he beats Cody Garbrandt. I think he might put out Daniel Marcos. I think against Victor Henry, I think he beats all those 4 names I listed. I'm just trying to figure out how he would beat him. I'm not really sure. Give him Adrian Yanez, though. I like that. Who was next? Gene Silva. So I made the notes for this video before, like a couple days ago, and today it was announced Gene Silva is going to be fighting Drew Dober in 2 weeks in the Denver card, which is pretty fucking good because Drew Dober, I don't even remember who he was supposed to fight. He had 2 fight announcements on that card, but both of them pulled out. But I guess Gene Silva stepped in, so that's pretty cool to see, and that's at 55 as well, obviously. So pretty cool to see because he just fought fucking 3 days ago, and he's gonna come back at a different weight class in 2 weeks' notice. So gotta love to see that. I don't know who I'm gonna pick for that. Drew Dober. I don't think he lost his last fight to Moicano, but I think and I want to say his fight before that was when he got KO'd by Matt Frevola. So I don't think he has a win in like the last year. So I might go Gene Silva in that fight. But originally I had him. I wanted him to fight Nate Landwehr because I thought that would just be extremely fucking entertaining. Whoever wins, it was going to be really entertaining on the mic, and it was definitely going to end in a finish. So that was originally my pick, but obviously he's fighting Drew Dober now, so that's cool to see. But all in all, it was a great night of fights. I think it was extremely overhated. The prelims were probably some of the best pay-per-view prelims we've seen in a while. We've had a lot of bad cards. I mean, 302 was pretty fucking bad. I'm not gonna lie to you, except for the main event. That was very uneventful, and the fight nights after that were pretty shitty as well. You had the worst fight night probably in history, which was the Tetsuro Taira and Alex Perez fight, or fight card. So I think this fight card is extremely overhated. I was a big fan of the prelims. The main card was a little bit uneventful. You saw Macy Chiasson and what's her fucking name, Myra Brenda Silva end in a doctor stoppage cut. Pretty fucking bad cut. Pretty good fight, by the way. MVP and Ian Garry was not totally up to our expectations. Diego Lopes didn't fight Brian Ortega like we wanted to, but it was pretty fucking cool to see Dan Ige step in. Overall, great night of fights. I don't care what anybody says. 304 is on the 27th of July. I'll make predictions for that card probably within the next week or two. And then the next two fight night cards are fucking abysmal. Don't even know if I'm gonna make videos for that. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, like and subscribe, man.